Okay, here's where we left the website the last time in the last video. Today, what I'm going to show you is why they call it cascading style sheets. Remember, CSS is cascading style sheets. So this isn't quite where I left it, but it's close enough. So what I've done here is I've added 3 font size declarations. One up in the body section, one up in the H1 or top level heading section, and one under the paragraph section. Also, by the way, here's how we put in a CSS comment. It's a C++ Java style comments. So always a good idea to have comments in your code, even if it's CSS. So first of all, what I'm going to do is take these 3 lines out. No font size. Save that. And then refresh the page. So this is what the page looks like with the default web browser rendered font sizes. Notice again, no font size at all. We've got a font family here. And if I take that out just for kicks, it all goes back to that serif style font. But for this, I'm kind of partial to Verdana, and that was in the CSS tutorial. So here's pretty much where we were. Now, here's where CSS gets tricky. So if I, whoops, let me go these. I'm going to put in just a font size declaration in the body here. Body, font size, 12 pix. That's PX, that stands for pixels. There's a bunch of different ways to specify size too. We'll get into that in another video perhaps. So because this is in the body, it's going to affect every element in the body. But notice it says 12 pixels. So when I refresh the page, you'll see that all the type change size, but it's not all the same size. This introduction here, that's my heading level 2, H2 element. And here's ham radio, that's my heading level 1, H1 level element. They're not the same as the body text. This is a paragraph here. This is a list that we haven't really talked about too much, but they're pretty straightforward. So the fact that I've added font size 12 pix, it does not make the type size of every element 12 pixels. That's your base font size, basically for like the paragraph text. So if I copy and paste that in there, then that shouldn't have any effect. Notice that's exactly the same because it's already 12 pixels. So that won't have any effect. However, the headings have a different size because they're headings. Their default size is slightly bigger than the paragraph, and also different level headings, H1, H2, H3, etc., have different sizes. So you have to understand that, first of all, a font size here in the body affects everything, but it doesn't make them all exactly the same. All right. So now let's see, I'll go back and paste that in. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to override the, well, I'll do this first. I'm going to override the paragraph font size with a value of 20 pixels. Now that'll just affect the paragraph text. See how big that is? And it's actually bigger than this heading level 2. Then I'm going to go in again, paste that heading level 1 size to 40 pixels. Boom. But now notice my H2 level heading is a little small. So I might want to, override that, or simply take that out of the body, and then the heading level 2 will use the default. See that? Which is a little bit bigger than the paragraph text. So there's a bunch of different ways you can control the styling of your elements, but you have to understand that it cascades. So it starts at the body, which is the outermost element that encloses all of these tags, and then cascades through, and then the anything you specify in H1 will override anything that's specified up here. So if you have font size 12 pixels here, this font size declaration will override that. But if you don't have that there, then this font size declaration up here will cascade through and be used for the heading level 1 as it was for the heading level 2 right here. So it gets pretty tricky, and it's really easy to get lost and thrash around. And if you find yourself adding a lot of stuff to try and fix things, that you're probably going to get into more and more trouble. The best thing is to take things away, which is why I wanted to show you what a comment looks like. If I want to leave this in here for my own personal reference so that I can look at it later, but I want to disable the functionality, I can just enclose that whole line in a comment. So now basically I've commented out all three of those font size lines. Save that, refresh it, and now I know that's what it looks like with no font size styling tags. Then I can go back in and add one at a time. Maybe I only want to override the heading level 1, make that bigger. Maybe I want to override the paragraph, but you should do it a little at a time and see what the results are, because it can be very, very complicated. All right, thanks for watching. This is Mr. Estabrooks. Keep up with the good work on your website.